Hallelujah. The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Mark. As Jesus came down from the mountain with Peter, James, and John and approached the other disciples, they saw a large crowd around him and scribes arguing with them. Immediately on seeing him, the whole crowd was utterly amazed. They ran up to him and greeted him. He asked them, "What are you arguing about with them?" Someone from the crowd answered him, "Teacher, I have brought to you my son possessed by a mute spirit. Wherever it seizes him, it throws him down. He foams at the mouth, grinds his teeth, and it becomes rigid. I asked your disciples to drive it out, and they were unable to do so." He said to him in reply, "O faithless generation, how long will I be with you? How long will I endure you? Bring him to me." They brought the boy to him, and when he saw him, the spirit immediately threw the boy into convulsions. And as he fell to the ground, he began to roll around and foam at the mouth. Then he questioned his father, "How long has this been happening to him?" He replied, "Since childhood. It has often thrown him into fire and into water to kill him. But if you can do anything, have compassion on us and help us." Jesus said to him, "If you can, everything is possible to the one who has faith." Then the boy's father cried out, "I do believe. Help me, help my unbelief." Jesus, on seeing a crowd rapidly gathering, rebuked the unclean spirit and said to it, "Mute and deaf spirit, I command you, come out of him and never enter him again." Shouting and throwing the boy into convulsions, it came out. He became like a corpse, which caused many to say he is dead. But Jesus took him by the hand, raised him, and he stood up. When he entered the house, his disciples asked him in private, "Why could we not drive the spirit out?" And he said to them, "This kind can only come out through prayer." The Gospel of the Lord. I think this is captured in another gospel, and it says this kind can only come out through fasting and prayer. And I just want to point out one more thing, just ancillary, a little rabbit trail. Some commentators, especially of the modern sense, have said that in this gospel, he was not possessed with an evil spirit or a demon. He was possessed with an unhealthy condition called epilepsy, because of the description that it seized him and threw him down, and he foamed at the mouth, and he grinded his teeth, and he became stiff and rigid. But then notice later on, when it approaches Jesus, it does the same thing. Epileptics don't typically do that. That would indicate possession by an evil spirit. And so our Lord, who can heal anything, drove the spirit away. So be careful the modern commentaries that you read. If you're reading them, they try to explain away a lot of things. What is our Lord's ultimate intent here? Well, it is to instill faith. He wants to instill faith in all of us. Each one of us, he wants to live our lives not stupidly, not unwisely, so to speak. In other words, don't take the curve at 90 miles an hour in your Porsche when the sign says 35. That would be stupid. Don't do that. But he does want us to live our lives in faith. Things that are outside of our control, he wants us to place it within his control and be firmly confident that he will take care of it. Even if it's a result we don't like, it's the result that he likes and that he wants and that he knows is good for us. In the gospel, they are arguing when he is out of sight, but when he comes into view, they are filled with amazement, and they immediately approach him and ask for his authority. They ask for his assistance. What he did for Peter, James, and John on the Mount of Transfiguration, which is where they were coming down from, he now does at the foot of the mountain in the town for the other 9, so that they can see his glory, his magnificence, his authority over evil spirits, and his ability to help them build their faith. In essence, he allows the other 9 to fail, and to fail utterly, and so he can teach them later on. And so what do we draw from this? That we have mountaintop experiences, but we also have experiences where our Lord has left us alone. And then when he approaches us later, he sees that we are in failure, and we are crying out to him to help us. Our Lord allows us to fail so that he can teach us, because we have free will. And a lot of times when he's trying to teach us, we're not listening because we have free will. And some of us may be a little more hard-headed than the others. And he allows us to fail because he loves us. The first passage talks about wisdom, and one of the ways we can grasp wisdom is through experience, and the best way to experience some things is simply to fail and then learn and master through process. This is what our Lord has given us so that we can continue to choose him. That is the essence of love. And then through failure, we incur humility. We understand that we have an end, that there is a limit to what we can do, to what we can know, to what we have within our possessions and our abilities and our talents. We come to an end of ourselves, and it is there that our Lord can do the greatest work. And when we rely on him, he helps us grow in holiness. But you can only grow in holiness if you grow and learn humility. And so what is Jesus doing in your life to invite incredible faith with you as we get ready to embark upon our Lenten journey? As we get ready to approach the 40 days of fasting, and I know that all of you will take on that strict water fasting only method, and so that your body and can be cleansed and your faith can increase. And of course, I say that tongue in cheek, but still, we have a time when we are to be detached from the things that we are accustomed to, the things that will grow us in our faith. What would that be? What would you detach yourself from that you would be, that would cause you to grasp a hold of our Lord and grab the wisdom that he has for you, that would help you grow in your humility, coming to an end of yourself? What would you give up for holiness? That's the question for you this morning.